Hello, V Gates. My name is Monica Liana, and this is Books and Beauty, where I talk about books while doing my makeup. So I saw this on another person's channel. Forgot what her name was. I apologize. But she basically said if she could pick 30 books, which 30 books she would pick. I'm not gonna do 30 just because I feel like it would be easy for me to pick 30 books because I've just really started reading. And yes, there are books that I've liked, but at the same time, I could take it or leave it, or like some books that I've read that I'm like, I know it was good, but I don't remember it. So I wanted to make it hard on me. So I decided to pick 15 books instead. So I'm gonna tell the 15 books, kind of the synopsis, and then like why I love it so much and why I would take these 15 books. Like, let's just say I was on a desert island for some reason. Hopefully that never happens, but you never know. These are the 15 books I would want to take. And I made it a little bit hard where it's like I only picked one from one of my favorite authors, because there's a few authors that I've liked multiple books from them, but I've only wanted to pick one, because if I didn't, this would be just like a whole Karen Slaughter thing, and that's not fun. And then also, if I picked a book from a series, I can only pick one from the series, not the whole series, just one of the books. So, and I'm not gonna say the authors' names because I feel like messing up the authors' names and I feel really bad about it. So I'm just gonna say the name of the book and then I'm gonna pop a picture up anyways. So anyways, let's go. So first one, Birthday Girl. I will die on this hill and say that Birthday Girl is the best romance book in my opinion. Pike, and I actually forget what her name is, which is awfully sad. But this one is about basically a taboo / forbidden romance, because it's about a girl that gets with her boyfriend's dad. And there's age gap and everything involved. And I absolutely love it. They have so much pining and yearning that you're just like anticipating what's going to happen, and they make it so hard. They make you want it so much before they actually get to it. And I have a thing where I really do like forbidden romances, and this is just my favorite one. The next one is Top Secret, and this one is a male romance. This one is so damn cute. Like, I wanted to pick one really cute romance, and this is the one I went with because it's about two guys that are in the same university, and they're both going for class president, but one's going because they're just trying to please their father, and other one's going because if they win class president, they get to live at the university for free, and he's kind of poor, so he's like, I just want free rent. And they don't like each other, but online they're chatting because the rich guy, the rich boy that's just trying to please the daddy, has a girlfriend who wants to, for I think it's her 21st birthday, experiment and have like a threesome. And he's willing to do it just to make her happy, but he wants to pick the guy. He's like, I'm gonna do the investigating and everything like that. And online, he's talking to the guy that he's competing against, which he doesn't know because they kind of keep their faces out of it. And come to realize how much he actually is liking this idea, to the point that he's not even thinking of the girlfriend. He's just thinking of getting with the guy. And it's so damn cute. It's cute in the sense of like him learning about himself type of thing, of like he'd never been with a guy. Now he's starting to realize that like, ooh, I may just like this. And it's like, how cute. The next one is Arrogant Bastard, which this one was hard because this one is a series. It's a 3-part trilogy, and it is really hard because I really wanted to pick the second one, but I'm going to go with the first one because I feel like the first one just starts it off. I didn't know that this was a trilogy when I first got into it. And the synopsis is a boy gets sent to live with his mom because I think his dad was abusive and social services stepped in, and they basically shipped him to his mom's house. Well, his mom is now in a polygamy religious basically cult, but relationship and everything like that. And he's just trying to wait until he can get old enough, because I think he's like 17, 18. He's just trying to finish high school so then he can like go, because I think he's trying to be a tattoo artist in like LA or something like that. So he's just waiting. Well, he gets there, and of course there's beautiful little stepsister. They're not related by blood, so don't worry, it's not incest, but like they technically kind of stepsisters, since the mom is married to the dad, because clearly she's not really married to him, because I think she's like the third wife of him, so she's not legally married to him. But this is like his sister, and like at first he's kind of an asshole. That's why they call him a bastard, because you know, he just tries to pick on her because, you know, she's innocent little church girl that like just wants to make daddy happy and stuff like that. But she slowly starts to realize that what she wanted for her life is not about to happen, because she wants to go to college, and her dad said she can go to college as long as, I think she kept her like her grades up, she was a good girl and everything like that. They would talk about going to college. All of a sudden the dad's saying no, you can't go to college, and is trying to get her married off, because you know that's the whole polygamy lifestyle and stuff like that. So they decide to try to get the fuck out of there, because the dad finds out that they're kind of having a relationship. Oh, it's so good. It's the same thing. I have a type. I like forbidden romances. I like the sneaking around and the whole, not, I want to say like, I feel bad to say taboo, because taboo you really think like incest, and it's like, it's not incest, it's just more of a, normally when you look at it you're like, you know, you're not supposed to be doing that type of thing, but in reality it's like, it's not, like I said, they're not related. Same thing with like Pike, another thing, it's like, so what that there's a big age gap, because I think there's like 20-year age gap. It's like, it's not illegal, but society wise we just see it as like, oh, this is taboo. So I love taboo shit, the whole running around like I have a type. The next ones are two actual fantasy books. I don't really do fantasy books, and the reason is just because I'm intimidated by fantasy. I feel like there would be a lot of fantasy books that I would like, but I have no idea what I'm looking at. I don't know what my taste is. I don't really know anything. And these two books, one is a childhood favorite, which is Harry Potter. And I'm going to pick the third book. And the reason is because the third book is my favorite. I have read that book as a kid, probably like 5 different times, like straight up. I've read that book like 5 times. Why? I don't know. It's just my favorite one. I know it 100%. And the movie is the worst one. Out of all the movies, the third one is the worst. And apparently it was like the director or something like that. And of course they had to destroy my favorite book. But I digress. But 100% out of all the Harry Potter books, it would be the third one. So I had to pick it on here. And then the other fantasy book that is a recent favorite is Scythe, which is the first one of the trilogy. Because man, it's so good. So Scythe, if you don't know, is about a world where humans are now mortals. They've gotten rid of all the diseases. You can't die. They have like doors in them to like, you can like technically splat, like go off a building and splat, but you'd be brought back to life. Like your body has some type of like neurons to like make it where you don't feel it or anything. You just kind of go out of commission for like maybe about a month or something, but you would come back and you would be just fine. Like you cannot die. Well, to deal with the population problem, they have come up with scythes who can kill somebody 100%. So somebody can live like 300 years and then a scythe will eventually come by and end their life and stuff like that. And you are not allowed to fight back, because if you do try to fight back, that means your whole entire family will get wiped out. So you basically have to just deal with it. And scythes can kill how they want, who they want. The only thing they cannot do is they can't be biased. So like they can't target a religious group a nationality. They can't do none of that. And if they do get caught doing that, they can get killed themselves. So of course, you know, you can't do that. But other than that, as long as they just kill with some type of moral, like they're not allowed, like I said, they have to keep somewhat of a quota and everything like that. As long as they just don't abuse it, they're allowed to kill who they want. And the first book is about a Scythe that takes on a prodigy. He actually takes on two, which you're not, I guess, supposed to do. You're only supposed to do like one at a time. But he really liked both of them, and he was like, whoever at the end makes it. And it's so fascinating. I really loved the world that they built and like the rules that they make. And it's funny because the two people he picks are two people that don't want to do this. They're like, I don't want to do this, but then they're kind of made to do it. And of course they eventually realize that, like, oh, it's not as bad as they thought it was, because they just see it as like, oh, you're just killing people. But it's like, no, there's a reason. Like, we have to kill people, like, you know, to deal with the population. And it's like, basically you just get to choose how you want to do it and stuff like that, which is what makes you whether you're a good Scythe or not, because there are technically bad ones out there, which is how the whole second and third one kind of get brought up, because there are bad Scythes in there, and it becomes very kind of political in a way because of the whole like old age and the new age starting to battle and trying to be like, you know, we should take off some of these limitations and just kill willingly, like we're Scythes. And the old people are like, no, we can't do that, we have to have some type of rules. And new people are like, why should we have rules? And it just basically goes from there. Now we're gonna move on to horror. I don't do horror all that much because I don't know if you did watch my previous video, but the reason I don't do horror all that much is because a lot of horror deals with like supernatural and like monster horror, and I am not into that. I'm not into that stuff whatsoever, at least when it comes to book. I like it as movies, I don't care for as books. And the two ones I'm gonna talk about are realistic horrors, and they're actually foreign horrors, because I think the first one is Brazilian and the other one is Korean. Well, anyway, so Tender is the Flesh. This one is about cannibalism. The world is plagued to the point where animals are now deadly to humans. Like, they can't consume it. It kills them if they do. And like, so I think at this point, like, animals don't even exist in this world. Or if they do, they're feared upon, because like if you get bitten by them, you're gonna die or something like that. So I think they've like killed the dogs, and like they're scared of the birds because if they poop on them, that they can get affected and die. Kind of funny. They walk around with umbrellas because they're scared to get pooped on. And so we're following this guy who, give me a second, we're following this guy who works at a factory that kills the humans, because they now breed humans. Like, there's not even, it's not random people, they breed them to the point where like these people don't talk. So when they breed them, they treat them like cattle. So these people don't know how to talk. They don't know how to like write or anything like that. And they treat them like cattle, basically. That's exactly what they are. And he works at this factory, and he's actually a vegetarian. He doesn't let his colleagues know, so he'll eat meat in front of them just to avoid any problems. But other than that, he doesn't eat meat because he doesn't really agree with this system. But he works there because it's a good job. You know, I think at this point, like, having a job, a very good job, is actually hard to come by. A lot of people are kind of like starving because, like I said, you can't eat people, you can't eat you know, animals anymore. And then it's like these people, and I guess some of these like people meat can actually be pretty expensive and stuff like that. So there's a lot of savages out in the world. So like, he keeps his job in the sense of like, this is a good job, it pays bills. And like, his dad is about to die or is in a nursing home, and if you don't pay to get your dad or anybody buried with security, they will get raided, and people will take that your dad, like his dad, and eat him, and he doesn't want that. So he's basically just trying to work so people don't eat his dad and that his wife and everything like that have like a roof over their head. And he actually, his child died. I forgot how he died, but he did die as a little kid. And his wife is at the moment away because she kind of can't deal with life because of their son dying. And I guess I shouldn't say more, but it's good. It's really good. It's really messed up. I wouldn't say it's the scariest thing, but just the concept of like people now being like, yeah, we're just gonna eat people, we're gonna raise people to do this. They are now cattle and nobody bats an eye. And it's just like, damn. Which to me, I'm like, why can't you guys all just be vegetarians? But I guess that's not how the world works. They're like, no, we're gonna eat people. The next one is the Audition, which this one is really short. I highly recommend. It's super short. Like if you get it on Audible, it's like 4 hours long. So it doesn't take long. But basically, this one is about a guy who wants to get married again. His wife died. He wants to get married again. And he doesn't want to go on like normal dating websites to get married. So instead, him and his friend come up with this scheme of like, well, let's do an audition for like a movie. And they come up with a script and everything because technically it could be considered fraud if they do find out that like this movie is not going on. So like they do come up with script and they do a thing of like someone investing and stuff like that to make it look legit. Well, while he's going through the resumes before the auditions, he finds this resume of this girl and he like falls in love with her right then and there, which is okay, dude. He just thinks she's so wonderful, and the whole entire time that he's at the auditions, he's just waiting for her. And his friend is like, yo, like you gotta ask some questions too. We gotta make this look legit, like we can get in trouble and stuff like that. And as soon as he actually finds her, he's so entranced. And she used to be a ballerina and she wants to take her hand into like acting, I guess, or something like that. And he like loves her at first sight. And basically he ends up going on a date with her, but something is wrong with her. We don't know. He doesn't know. His friend, I think it's like 2 people, are kind of trying to warn him like, dude, you know, maybe you should like take it easy, like something is wrong with her. And he's just like, no, I love her, even though he like doesn't know nothing about her. And it is so good. I recommend the book, but once you actually do the book, there is a movie, and the movie in a weird way actually explains a lot more than the book. But yeah, I recommend the book just because it will shock you. If you go in completely blind, all you know is that this guy wants to get married, sees a girl, pretty much falls in love with her. That's it, all you know. This book will shock you by the end of it, and it's only 4 hours. So out of all the books, I recommend this one the most, just because it's like, it does not take you long and you will love it. And if you don't, well then I'm sorry, but I guarantee you will love it. The next one is we're gonna move on to the thrillers and mysteries because this is my favorite genre. So of course I'm gonna have the most when it comes to this. I'm gonna go with The Passengers by John Mars. This was really hard. I wanted to go by The One by John Mars, but realistically, I had to go with The Passengers because The One has a little bit of some characters in it that I kind of don't care about all that much. Like he could have nixed their part out and I would have actually been cool with it. So I figured I would go with The Passengers because I love The Passengers. All the characters, all of it was interesting. So basically what it's about is there's now these remote cars. They pretty much take you where you want to go. Well, I think there's like 5 different cars or something like that. They get hijacked by some hacker that wants to show whoever these people are. So like there's like an insurance group that whenever there's an accident with these cars, they debate whether or not the person that died, whether or not they should get like insurance or something like that. So like the family gets insurance, whether it's like their fault or the car's fault type of thing. And a lot of times the car company wins because of course it's not the car's fault and everything, it's human error. So that's because a lot of times they don't get paid out, but they have to have, I guess, these trials of like humans. Well, while doing this case, while they're doing a case, the cars get hijacked, and the guy is basically like, hey, so you guys are making up the rules, right? Which one of these people should live and who should die? And he starts to slowly show the people their secrets, being like, oh, well, this woman is pregnant, so like, wouldn't you think that she should live? But what if you found out that like she did this, this, and this? So now does she deserve to die? Versus this lady over here who's old and who's been recognized, but like she's old, so wouldn't you get rid of her? Like it's this whole like choice of like which one would you kill, or which one do you think deserves to live? And it's so good. So good. I think I finished it within a day. There's so many twists and turns. Like everybody got secrets. Like seriously, everybody that you're like, oh yeah, this person is a good person, you find out they cheating. You see this person die. You see this person is a pedophile or protecting a pedophile. Like you're just like, and it makes you think like, man, ain't nobody good in this. But it's like at the same time, it's like, but are you the one that should tell them whether or not they should die? Like, are you given that right? And it's like, technically no, but as society, that's what we do by judging people and stuff like that. It's so good. Highly recommend it. It is very much like a Black Mirror episode, which I love Black Mirror, so high praises. And unwanted guest. I can't talk. So the reason I like this one is because it is a very much Clue aspect. Like it's about these strangers, I don't know, it's like 10 different strangers or something like that, go to holiday at this remote place. The place ends up having, I think, a storm, and slowly people are dying. You got to figure out who's the murderer, why are they killing people, and I was not correct. I love this one just for the fact that I like somewhat classic murder mysteries of like a small town or a small group of people, and it like slowly reveals like who is who and like why this happened. Oh, and then like you think maybe one person is like possibly the killer and they're the one that dies too, and you're like, well, that person isn't it. So highly recommend it. The next one is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Now we should all know this is one of my favorite books. Like, yeah, this is like one of the top 3 favorite books. This is the darkest book you will ever read. Every trigger wording every trigger warning ever. But like, I can't say too much because one of the things is like a spoiler, but basically it's about 2 sisters. One of her sister's husband dies. The other sister basically is happy that the husband died and pisses on his grave. And this is the first time them seeing each other, I think in like years. And come to find out, the husband may have not been the greatest person. And it goes from there. Can't really say much more. It's just, it goes from there. And it is the darkest book I think I've ever read. Like worse than Tinder is the Flush about cannibals, or even the Audition. Like this is the worst book. And it is a very misleading cover. It is like a pretty little like cover and everything, and it's like, it is the darkest book ever. But yeah, really good, just really dark. The next one is Darling Rose Gold. I love this one because it's, if you know about Gypsy Rose, the case about Munchausen by proxy, this is kind of a reimagination. It is very similar to the Gypsy Rose case, but there's enough of a difference. So it's not just like, oh, she's just retelling the case. So Rose Gold, her mother made her sick, proxy and everything like that. Well, she's now getting out of prison from doing this, and she's gonna go stay with the girl that she made sick, and she has a son now, so she's basically gonna stay with her daughter and her grandson. Well, as time goes on, you wonder whether or not the mom is back to her old tricks, or if the daughter inherited her mother's tricks. And that's as much as I can say. It's really good. And like I said, it's very close to Gypsy Rose case, but it's not at all the same in the sense of like, oh, she kills her mom or anything like that. It's like, it's actually a lot different. No Exit. This one is an action-packed thriller about a girl who she's trying to go see her mom, I think during winter break. She ends up getting snowed out and has to go to like one of those little truck stops, and I think there's like 5 different other people there. Well, I think she went to go walk around to try to get reception, and she ends up finding out that there's a girl in one of the cars, like in a cage. And she's like, oh shit, I have a kidnapper person in the waiting area, and she doesn't know whose car it is or who she could trust. And that's pretty much what it is. It's just, it is so action packed. Like, once this book gets going, it is just like non-stop, just like go and everything. It's really good, and there's a few twists and turns and everything, and it never ends. There are like, this book I thought was going to end probably like 2 different times, and then it just kept going, and I was like, how more can this, like, what else can it makes me think of like the movie Die Hard. This is what it makes me think of, not in the same story, but in the same like action packed, where it was just like go, you're just like, oh my god, like, is this ever going to end? There's so much, just like so much action. You, which this should not be surprising, I love Joe Goldberg. He is a crazy psychopath, a stalker, a person who thinks he is doing no wrong. And the book is actually quite different than the show. Joe is worse in the book. Like, in the show, they actually make him out to be kind of a good person. Like, you kind of root for him and everything like that. Oh, in the book, he is a bad person, and there's no like idea that he's a good person. It's like, no, he's a bad person, and he is very obsessed with Beck, to the point where in the show he's like a clean person. In the book, he's not. He's dirty, and the reason he's dirty is because he doesn't have time. He needs to be following Beck. Like, he doesn't have time to clean up. It is just insane. He actually gets her pad at one point or something. Ugh. But it's really good. Like, and it's super quick read and stuff like that. So like, if you've only seen the movie and you have not seen the book, I recommend the book, because it is a big enough difference. And the last book, which is my favorite book, definitely one of the top 3s, but I would say this is my favorite book, is Confessions. This book blew me away. I am trying to give it enough time before I like reread it, because I love it so much, but I want to kind of, in a way, forget as much as possible before I reread it. So, quick synopsis. It is about a teacher whose daughter has sadly died by an accident. They have like a pool there, and supposedly she drowned. Well, and I think this is the last day of class, she tells her students, I know that 2 of the kids in this class killed my child. And they're like, what? Like, wasn't it an accident? She's like, no, 2 of the kids in this class has killed my child, and I will get back at you. Oh, she gets back at them, because there's like, I think there's like 5 or 6 parts, and she gets back at them like at the first part, and basically the rest of the book is like kind of, I guess you could say, like the echo effect of that. Like, what she does causes everything else, and it is so good. How she gets back at them is just absolutely ruthless. Like, it's so undercover of like, who the hell thinks of this? And yeah, and then from there it just goes on for like basically what happened, like the ripple effect and everything like that. And then we also do actually find out what happened to her daughter and stuff like that, and how she finds out who killed her and everything like that. It is the best book, like 100% out of every single book other than Audition. I think Audition is just like, it's just like I said, it's a quick book, so I do recommend that one probably the most, in the sense of like, it's a quick book. But if you want to give me my true 100% out of all the books, which is the best book, this is the best book, 100%. I will shout it to the rooftop. I want everybody to read this. Confessions, so good. It has so many like cliffhangers, because I think, like I said, I think there's like 6 parts, and every like chapter part, it ends with a cliffhanger, and you're just like, and you just have to keep going, because like, I need to know more, I need to know. And it's like the ripple effect just keeps going and going and going of like what causes more death, and it's just like, it's so good. But anyways, those are the 15 books. Actually, I just realized I almost fucked up. I'm missing one book. That's only 14. There's one more book. I can't believe I actually forgot this one. The Girl in 6E. I feel like I will get trashed for this book, but the reason I picked this book, because this book is hilarious. It does not intend to be hilarious. It is a erotica, a thriller. It's about a girl who is a cam girl, and the reason she's a cam girl, because supposedly she's crazy and she thinks that she will kill if she is outside. So she has locked herself up in this apartment and never leaves the house, and how she makes money is she's a cam girl, which makes a lot of sense, honestly. And this book is hilarious because she talks to these men, because she actually, like, this is why I love the book, because like it actually goes into camming, because there is a thriller part to it, but the thing that's important is the camming part. And she talks about the camming part, like, you know, her with her outfits and her with her clients and stuff like that. And it's so funny because it goes from serious to just all of a sudden erotic in like 2 seconds. Like, I'm gonna tell you one part, and I remember this so much when I was in Walmart in the frozen department. I was giggling. People would probably think I was crazy, but she's talking to one of her clients, which is a doctor, and she's like, I think she was trying to get something from him, another prescription or something, and he's talking to her and he's like, oh yeah, you know, I can get that for you and blah blah blah. And then she's like, okay, now show me how you like to get fucked in the ass. And it was so funny. I was like, that went so dramatic. They're talking about having an adult conversation, all of a sudden she's like, okay, now fuck yourself in the ass. It's like, what the hell? I laughed so hard and all that stuff. Like, I'm telling you, that's why I love this book. This book is trash in the sense of like, it's not a good thriller, but man, the camming part and her doing her thing is absolutely hilarious. Like, I giggled so hard that it's like, I have to put it on this book, on this list. I just had to. Anyway, so those are the 15 books. That is 15. I can't believe I almost forgot about that one. But yeah, I don't know if you ever read any of these. If you did, let me know. And also, like I said, I recommend all of these books. So whichever one you pick, you're not gonna be mad. They're all fucking good. For various reasons, but they're all good. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.